Hello, Medicine Tribe. In this video, we are going to talk about atonement. What do you have to atone for? What do we all have to atone for? Well, there is so much. It's unending. When we go back and we trace our entire life experience, we go, man, there were a lot of things that I did that I would just rather never look at and never acknowledge. It's so easy for us to look back on our past and blame our upbringing, blame our family situation, our friends. Oh, I should have just not. Maybe we should have just acknowledged what attracted us to that situation, to atone for our own behavior, or to atone for the behavior that we chose as a response, as a coping mechanism to the distortions or the weirdness or the things that happen in our lives that didn't make us feel good. We all develop coping mechanisms, and they're going to be different. They're going to be, an aggression, an authoritarian kind of thing, manipulation, vying for pity, whatever our thing is. Then from that point forward, we start to attract a different situation, which could be perceived as a repeating of patterns, but it also could be perceived as just a continuum of an energy within us that feels like a victim to reality. Or it feels like reality owes us something. Or it feels like everyone in reality is stupid and we're smart. Whatever our perception is going to be a coping mechanism which makes our ego feel inferior or superior or something. And then we attract our friends and situations and partners and business mishaps probably through that state. So what would something be that could just balance those aspects out? For myself, I have found that atonement, really deeply reflecting on what atonement really is. Like, what is atonement? Why was that such a valuable thing to bring into the church? And why is it such a valuable thing to do when you are talking with someone, you're processing with a counselor, to actually speak to different things? Well, it kind of releases this burden. But there's a way of speaking about our life from a victim standpoint that if you really look deep down within yourself, the blunt question is, well, how's that working out for you? And how it's working out for you is it isn't. Well, it is until it isn't. Because being able to remove a layer of karma is like, I went to that group meeting and I spoke about it. I did that ceremony and I released it. I put it in the bucket. There's like this layer that will always attract back to us though. Those patterns will always come back to us. So, the thing that I have found, which is very beneficial, is atonement. You could also call that personal responsibility. What role did I play in attracting that, in choosing my response to what happened to do with that? Whatever it is, how can I be more responsible and accept the role that I am playing in life? That is going to bring us to a new layer. I'm not sure if that's the final layer. I can't tell you. I'm only at this layer. But me being a victim of circumstances and things, it's kind of interesting because there is this proud aspect of my own consciousness that would have never admitted I was actually being a victim. And then when I looked into it, I was like, man, I actually have such a victim mindset, and I wasn't even aware of it. I wasn't even aware of how I was attracting this situation to me because it required atonement, a full acknowledgement of why I am attracting a situation that is validating or justifying my original perception that I'm a victim of this circumstance or that circumstance or whatever it is. Then you come back to this creation. I've recently had to confront a lot of parts of myself that I realized were feeling victimized. And then I just started this mantra. How did I create this situation for myself to learn from? Instead of complaining, projecting, or anything, when the emotion comes up, there's this thing that when the emotion comes up, you go, if I can just take this much of a layer off of it, I can actually get something done today. Because I just feel like I can't get anything done. And if you take off that layer through a victimhood mindset, it's like a cheap trick. It's a cheap, cheap trick that is always going to perpetuate more of itself. It's like a growth that keeps growing back, a tumor. You cut it off and it just keeps growing back. And you got to keep coming back. You got to keep repeating these patterns. It reminds me of something that I will speak to often. You'll hear it again, which is in certain cultures, they work with removing entities and removing spirits. And over time, it just creates a victim mindset. You are a victim of this entity and this energy, and you have no power over it. These are beliefs that are deeply, deeply rooted in our humanness, in the fabric of what makes us who we are. It's what causes a war. It is what creates circumstances to just perpetuate themselves. So awakening to what? There are many layers to this awakening journey. One of the ones I'm going through right now is how can I atone by stating to myself when I am in a state of emotions, they're coming on full tilt. How did I create this situation for myself to learn from? That's the beginning. And then, okay, can I atone for the fact that I would begrudgingly have to admit I'm being a victim right now. I am projecting right now. Atoning. You could also call it noting, just stating, becoming aware of. But atoning has this energy behind it, which is just I'm just yes, I'm allowing myself to be seen. If we allow ourselves to be seen to ourselves, well, the journey's done. We don't need ceremonies. We don't need to go to church and be atoning to someone else. The atonement process is from ourselves to ourselves. Of course, we can use the external reflection to just dive deeper, to hear each other. It's all beautiful. But when we can do that process within ourselves, the deep, deep work of, instead of just removing a layer of that tumor, we go, man, we actually removed the root of the tumor. Don't just taking little bits of it off. I'm not just feeling an emotion and then using my victim mindset to appease my emotion so that it feels like it has done something. It's an illusion. It's a serious and severe illusion to believe that that victim mindset is getting us anything. It's just a hamster wheel that we are on. And yeah, atonement is quite a beautiful key. If this video resonates with you, please comment, and if you are in the comment section, ask a question. I love being inspired by your questions. So, sending you lots of love today. We'll see you in the next video.